At Nas's peak, he attempted to put on a hip-hop group that, unfortunately, didn't go very far. They would release 2 albums and then part ways. In hip-hop, artists are often inspired by routine problems that are going around in the neighborhood and commonly a part of life. Before Bravehearts was a group, the area of Queensbridge where the collective is from was rough, also where Nas is from. At least that's how Jungle tended to remember it when he was growing up, one of the members. It's natural that seeing this environment daily influenced him and his homies and added a certain flow to their rapping when they started taking it seriously. Jungle's the younger brother of famous rapper Nas. While Nas figured his way out into rapping, Jungle had no idea what to do with his life and decided maybe he should do music. I noticed my musical tastes and thought maybe I could be in this music business. So at first I tried to manage. I was telling everybody I was a manager, but I didn't know what a manager had to do. So I read up on that and I started managing artists. I started managing this guy named Nature from Queensbridge, then got him a record deal. Then I managed Noriega for a little while and got him out of his deal and got him a solo album, Nori. I helped produce that album, and that was the first work I ever did in the music business. I was still a kid. While Jungle was making his first steps in the music business, he was hanging out with his neighborhood friend Wiz, who also loved breakdancing and rap, and in his own way wanted to break free from their surroundings and figure out a career for himself. Wiz was inspired to a certain degree by the gangsta atmosphere that was roaming their neighborhood. I'd see certain people on the street, and I'd be inspired by the way they moved, how they dressed, and the money they were making. It was 1998 when Wiz and Jungle were always hanging around Nas, and quite commonly accompanying him on his tours. Nas was touched by their loyalty and support, and named them the Bravehearts. Whatever he does, we do. If he falls off right now, we'll be there to pull him up. If he's on top, we're there with him. We'll never turn on him like the rest of the people. Even if he messes up the business with us, we already know he's not a college graduate or into business. We will never turn on him. Soon, Jungle, Wiz, and Horse created a group, keeping the name Bravehearts. Their first collaboration was with Nas, Trickmasters, and Nature on I Wanna Live, the soundtrack to Belly. Jungle remembers that time saying, "I didn't really know how to rap, though I would write rhymes and be embarrassed to say them and stuff like that. After a while, the crew influenced me to get on a mic in the studio. And after a while, we made a song. We made Uchi Wally. I wrote that, and they thought it was a joke, but the fans liked it and chose that to be a hit record. It was all just work and fun to me. We were having a lot of fun that just turned into a career and life." Uchi Wally was the track from the compilation album Nas and Ill Will Records presents QB's Finest, standing for Queensbridge. Soon after being released, Uchi Wally would go gold. Right after that, Bravehearts were offered a major label deal. While the group was busy working on their debut album, they found some time to appear in 50 Cent's Guess Who's Back mixtape and Nas' song Zone Out from his God's Son album. Around the time when Nas was at his peak of his beef with Jay-Z, Horse disappeared from the group, despite being a part of Uchi Wally. In the interview with All Hip Hop, Jungle and Wiz recalled the situation, saying, "Horse was just a feature, man. Nah, he was just a dude from the bridge, you know what I'm saying? Hanging around us and we put him on the record. He's not really built to go through all this stuff. Like, you gotta really be built for the ups and downs of this business. He just wanted ups, you know what I'm saying? Then soon as Jay-Z started going at Nas, he disappeared. He wasn't brave. He looked at it like they gonna beat us up." In another interview, when asked about why Horse left, Jungle mentioned that, "We were like, it's going to be alright, but his girl was telling him to stay home. He listened to his girl, so we had to let him go." And just like that, the trio would become a duo. But when you look at the facts of the group Bravehearts, one would see that Nas and Millennium Thug were listed as auxiliaries. Although they were keeping up with appearances with the group, they weren't members. And the reason why neither Nas nor Millennium Thug were members was that Nas had been a solo act for years and wanted to have them have their own entity. And Nashawn is an upcoming soloist, and we're just a group of playboys. Wiz and Jungle were focused on their work for their first album, Bravehearted, which was released in December 2003. A lot of people, including Lil Jon, Nas, Midi Mafia, and Tidra Moses were working on the album, filling it with their own creativity. Nas was deeply involved in the project and gave it all from the time that he had. Nas was involved all the time. From the first decision to the last decision, he oversaw the whole thing. The entire Braveheart CD. Whatever he felt he could get on, he got on. Lil Jon was a producer of Quick to Back Down, which also featured Nas and Lil Jon himself. I didn't even know that Lil Jon made beats, but when we got to the studio, he had this hot track. We wrote our rhymes in like 15 minutes, and you can hear how everything turned out. The track has an opening from Nas that really grabs someone's attention and gets them to listen throughout the whole track. It was a smart move. Nas appeared on a few more tracks, such as Twilight, Bravehearted, which was produced by Swizz Beatz, and Situations. Heel produced I Will, which was a real raw record and praised by fans. Another track was Bust My Guns, which was produced by Midi Mafia and had some spins in New York. That record is crazy. It's banging and it's got passion and a real edge to it. When they were asked about the sound of the album Bravehearted, their response was, "It's real hardcore street music, but with this party twist. We talk about regular things that go on every day. I don't want people to think we're coming with the hard metaphors. We're more straight partying and our music hits you straight in the face. The album is tight and right to the point." Wiz, when asked about the album, adds, "It's true to our word and to where we're from. Maybe some of what we're saying is a little shocking, but it's real, and that's the best you can give the fans. Something real." Due to personal differences over time, Wiz was no longer part of the crew, and his place was filled with Millennium Thug, with whom Jungle released Bravehearted 2, the second studio album from the Bravehearts. The main producer of the album was Money Machine. After that, it's safe to assume that Jungle and Millennium Thug parted ways, each focusing on their own solo careers. In 2014, Jungle participated in the documentary Time is Illmatic, which tells the story of how Nas made his first album, Illmatic. The documentary was well acclaimed by critics and received the Candescent Award. In the interview with Bevel, Jungle spoke a bit about his plans to make a documentary in the future, as well as a Black History film. "Yeah, I wanted to do a web series just showing me and my friends hanging out every day so everybody could really see how I am. I wanted to show people more of me like that. I don't want to do no corny stuff like a reality show. I wanted a little bit more real than that, and I can inspire and teach people at the same time instead of looking crazy. I'm an entertaining kind of wild spirit that's funny, so I would love to show people more of that. I was thinking of writing a web series that I could do right now. I want to be on HBO or something, but I would start off with a web series." The group never really generated much attention after their first gold record, possibly due to people constantly leaving, perhaps a testament to the fact that they weren't really rappers by trade and had to learn it on the fly, while most other rappers were already seasoned in writing before they got a chance to make it big. But it's interesting that they seemed to just fizzle out. There was no big breakup, and it was likely because the business didn't just make sense for them to continue making music.